What is going on, everybody? This is NYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm just going to do a quick recap of Monday Night Raw tonight that saw a lot of big things happen, but the biggest story of them all, the return of Johnny Wrestling, aka Johnny Gargano, to the WWE, and he has his sights set on a bunch of gold going forward in this new Triple H era. But Johnny Wrestling is officially back in the WWE, and we all cannot wait to see what Johnny Gargano has in store for us in the WWE going forward. Some of the biggest things we saw tonight. We saw the return of Trish Stratus to Monday Night Raw. She cut a good promo about what it feels like to be back in the WWE, what it feels like to be in Canada, the crowd giving her a great hometown reception. Then all of a sudden we got the Control coming out, Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai coming out to confront Trish Stratus. And there were little bits and teases out there, and Trish Stratus even made this saying that she's willing to unretire to have a match against Bayley in the future and kick her ass. And I am 1000% for that. To see Bayley and Trish Stratus go one-on-one in a future event, and I believe it's going to happen because later on we got Aaliyah and Bayley in a one-on-one matchup, which Bayley obviously came out the victor. But there were the little teases in the backstage segment of Trish Stratus and Bayley eventually having a one-on-one matchup in the future, which you cannot be anything but excited to see that. The past meets the future. Two of the best of their generations going one-on-one. You cannot just help but be excited about that. To start off Monday Night Raw, we had a chaotic scene when Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins were brawling in the backstage area as well as in the crowd, up and down the crowd. These two would pretty much kick their feud into the next level. And if anything, this is just building up for their eventual matchup at Clash of the Castle next Saturday. So this is going to be something damn exciting to see. And we're even going to get a face-to-face next week between these two right before we head to Clash of the Castle. So that's going to be really exciting to see. Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins have a face-to-face with one another before they have their epic matchup at Clash of the Castle. We had a good one-on-one matchup between Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler, two of the best in-ring workers in this company, and they just went out there and they showed out, and they showed why these two are the best in-ring workers in the WWE and have been for many years. Put on a very good matchup overall, about 10-15 minutes of great solid in-ring work. Balor ended up getting the win due to a huge sucker punch on the at the ring apron by Rhea Ripley onto Dolph Ziggler. Balor ended up hitting the 1916, went up top, coup de grace, 1, 2, 3, Finn Balor gets the win. Probably getting ready for a matchup against Edge. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but yeah, that was a good win for Finn Balor, build him some momentum. Dolph Ziggler always looks good in the ring. Solid matchup there. I forgot about to mention it before. The very solid matchup we had between Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Asuka and Alexa Bliss in a women's semifinal tag team tournament matchup, where we saw a good solid 15 to 20 minute in-ring action by all four ladies. Great moves all around. Enjoyable match overall. And it actually ended up with Dakota Kai getting Io Sky getting a sneaky tag on Dakota to hit Dakota Kai with a tag, while Asuka didn't know about it. Asuka applied the Asuka lock on Dakota Kai, but not knowing she was not the legal person, and Io Sky ended up getting the roll-up victory over Asuka, and Io Sky and Dakota Kai now are going to advance to the semifinals, where they're going to face either the winner of the battle between Raquel Rodriguez and whoever wins that fatal four-way second chance women's tag team matchup, which the teams have now been cleared as Shotzi Blackheart and Xia Li will be taking on Sonya Deville and Natalya, who they'll be taking on Doudrop and Nikki ASH, who they'll be taking on Tamina and Dana Brooke. The winner of that matchup will take on Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah in the semifinals, and then the winner of that matchup in the semifinals will take on Io Sky and Dakota Kai to figure out who will become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions going forward. Then we had a nice little segment with Kevin Owens with us, the Alpha Academy, saying that they want to have a matchup. They're opening up the Alpha Academy, and they want to have a matchup and figure out who's going to answer the call. It ended up being the prize fighter, Kevin Owens, who got a huge reception from the Canadian crowd. Big time reception. Him and Chad Gable ended up putting on a very good matchup overall. At least it went about 10-15 minutes of good solid in-ring work. Kevin Owens looked fantastic out there. Chad Gable put on a great match. And it ended up getting Kevin Owens with the victory as he hit the pop-up powerbomb to get the victory over Chad Gable going forward. A little bit of a post-match beatdown, but potential beatdown by Chad Gable and Otis, but Owens ended up getting 2 stunners on both of them before celebrating with the crowd after the match. Great moment right there. Then we got apparently to me the moment of the night, when out of nowhere all of a sudden you start hearing the RebelHeart music and Johnny Gargano, JohnnyWrestling, appears back on WWE television to an enormous reception by the crowd. The crowd going nuts, chanting JohnnyWrestling, JohnnyWrestling. Everybody's ecstatic right now seeing the return of Johnny Gargano to the WWE. And Johnny Gargano pretty much says he's been away for about 9 months. He's been taking care of his 6-month-old child with Candice LeRae. He's been waiting and he's been missing the fans. He's happy to be back in the WWE, and he's got high goals right now. He wants to be a WWE champion. He wants to be an Intercontinental and a US champion. He wants to be a tag team champion. Pretty much, Johnny Gargano came back because he wants to be a champion in the WWE. Then all of a sudden, Austin Theory comes out, and it looked like we were going to get a little bit of a reunion between The Way. Everybody remembers The Way in NXT. Looked like we're going to have a little bit of a reunion. Austin Theory does some trash talking to Johnny Gargano, and it looked like we're going to get a little bit of the former high five between Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, but then Johnny Gargano hits a massive super kick on Austin Theory and lays him out and then celebrates in the middle of the ring to the rest of the fans in delight. Great moment. Awesome to have Johnny Gargano back. Triple H is making moves all over the place, bringing back a whole bunch of former superstars. But I think besides Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux, this has been by far the biggest return that the WWE can have. Also, what happened tonight during the AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley versus Miz and Ciampa matchup, which they put on a very solid matchup overall too. AJ Styles ended up going to the corner of the outside of the ring. We had a mysterious person look like they were attacked. Some person just went up and tried to grab AJ Styles and abduct him. We don't know who it was. It was some mysterious person giving off the impression it could be Dexter Lumis. But it wasn't. It was just some mysterious person who decided to grab AJ Styles. We don't know who the person is. And then on the other side of the ring, you had Dexter Lumis show up, taking off the biker helmet, and ends up abducting The Miz, taking him out of the arena, outside of the back, through one of the entrance areas, and then the crowd just like is sitting there stunned. And then AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley ended up getting the win over Tommaso Ciampa and Miz after Styles and Lashley ended up hitting their moves on Ciampa to pick up the victory. But I gotta say, major kudos to Triple H and the creative on this one. Awesome little double twist there. You thinking that Dexter Lumis is the one that's abducting AJ Styles, but it's just either a plant or it's another person that we didn't recognize that's coming back, and it ended up being The Miz getting abducted on the other side, completely tricking you on what exactly is going on. You have now the cliffhanger there is, why is Dexter Lumis abducting The Miz? Who is this mysterious person that tried to abduct AJ Styles, and what the hell is going on with Dexter Lumis? So I love that double turn. Awesome moment going on there. Then we had a little preview of what's going to be happening on Monday Night Raw next week. We have Dakota Kai and Io Sky that are going to be awaiting who they're going to be facing in the finals of the WWE Women's Tag Team Tournament. As like I mentioned before, they're in the finals right now. They're just waiting to see if they're going to be taking on Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, or whoever wins that Fatal 4-Way Second Chance matchup between Shotzi Blackheart and Xia Li, Sonya Deville and Natalya, Doudrop and Nikki ASH, as well as Tamina and Dana Brooke. We also are going to have the return of Kurt Angle Kurt Angle, the Olympic hero, since we're going to be in Pittsburgh for Monday Night Raw next week, the Olympic hero will be making his return to Monday Night Raw next week. So it's going to be awesome to see Kurt Angle back on WWE TV, and especially on Monday Night Raw. You know you're going to be getting a lot of "you suck" chants, but I cannot wait to see Kurt Angle back on Monday Night Raw. And we're also going to be getting a big-time face-to-face matchup by Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins before we get their eventual matchup at Clash at the Castle on September 3rd, next Saturday. So I cannot wait to see that. And then we had the main event, Edge and Damian Priest. Edge's first matchup on Monday Night Raw in over a decade in Toronto, Canada, versus Damian Priest, who this matchup was being hyped up big time, and these guys delivered in the ring. Chaos all over the place. Damian Priest hitting big moves on Edge, including him hitting a choke slam on the ring, off the ring, and then he ends up hitting the broken arrow through the announce table, the Razor's Edge broken arrow through the announce table, and end up going to picture-in-picture after that. Then eventually we got back in the ring. Damian Priest was actually going to be going for Edge's spear, but Edge ended up countering it, and he hit a South of Heaven chokeslam for a 2 count. Awesome little moment there. And then we ended up getting Damian Priest hitting the Reckoning, and then he ended up looking for the South of Heaven chokeslam, but Edge ended up hitting an execution for a 2 count. And then we ended up getting Edge going over there, getting Damian Priest looked like he was going to go for a top rope move. This was getting towards the end of the match. Damian Priest went to the top rope, and he looked like he was going to hit a super South of Heaven chokeslam from the top rope. Edge ended up hitting a Hurricane Rana off the top, stunning Damian Priest, and then Edge ended up hitting the spear for the 1, 2, 3, and Edge ends up getting the win on Monday Night Raw. But that's not what really is the interesting story going forward. We had Edge then end up looking like he wanted to go hit for a concerto on Damian Priest, but then out of nowhere, Rhea Ripley comes into the match, comes in the ring, and she hits a low blow kick on Edge, followed by Finn Balor going up and hitting a coup de grace on Edge. And then it looked like after that happened, the three of them are standing there. Rhea Ripley was about to go out there and get a chair. Finn Balor was about to go take a chair. And then all of a sudden, Beth Phoenix, who was in the crowd during the match, goes out there, stops Finn Balor from getting the chair, grabs the chair and the hold of her in the hand, and she ends up smashing the chair on the ground, daring Rhea Ripley to come over here and try to mess with her and try to do something about it. And Rhea Ripley is trying to be held back right there by Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So it looks like they might be teasing a potential matchup between Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix in the future, which I am all for. Two of the biggest powerhouses in terms of the women's division going forward. I am all for seeing those two go at it on Monday Night Raw in the future for the WWE. But that's just my Monday Night Raw quick recap on some of the things we saw tonight. Good wrestling overall. Really enjoyed the show. Interesting little angles and twists we had. And of course, the return of Johnny Gargano, aka JohnnyWrestling, to the WWE tonight. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. And if you enjoy the content, subscribe to NYGJeffyT3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the WWE, as well as the New York Giants, Brooklyn Nets, New York Mets, and food for thought. Turn on the bell for notification of the next video or short that's going to drop surrounding the WWE. And I want to hear your guys' comments in the comment section on what you thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. If you're excited about the return of JohnnyWrestling, aka Johnny Gargano, to the WWE. What you thought about the little cliffhanger happening between Dexter Lumis and now The Miz, as well as AJ Styles. How that's all going to tie together and what you think is going to happen going forward. The matchups we saw tonight between Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka, as well as Finn Balor versus Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable, as well as the main event tonight between Damian Priest and Edge, and the little twist they had with Beth Phoenix looking like she's teasing a matchup against Rhea Ripley going forward. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Monday night tonight. Take it easy, and let's see what Friday Night SmackDown and NXT have in store for us. Have a great rest of your night, and Raw was a definite awesome show tonight. Take it easy, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday night.